The day you decide, your life changes forever. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when conditions become perfect. But the moment the conviction rises inside you like fire that refuses to be ignored. My people, decision is not a sentence you speak with your mouth. It is a covenant you sign with your heart. It is the point where your spirit says, enough is enough. And heaven witnesses the shift. Many people talk about change, pray for change, cry for change, but few ever decide. And that is why many remain where they are, circling the same mountain, repeating the same stories, fighting the same battles, carrying the same limitations. Because talk without decision is noise. Prayer without decision is routine. Desire without decision is fantasy. But when a man or woman decides, even the obstacles become ladders. I am speaking to somebody today who has been living in the shadow of what they could be. You have been surviving, not living. You have been adjusting to the weight of your circumstances as if it was your inheritance. You have been waiting for life to show you mercy, but life does not submit to waiting. Life submits to decision. If you do not decide to rise, life will decide to keep you where you are. If you do not decide to break the chains will decide to become your identity. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is not distance, it is decision. Listen to me. Decision is spiritual. It is not the mind deciding, it is the spirit awakening. When your spirit awakens, your environment must respond. When your identity aligns with your inner conviction, everything around you begins to adjust, doors open, strength comes, clarity appears, and your journey changes direction. But until that awakening happens, you will always postpone the life you were created to live. Some of you have lived too long in confusion, too long in excuses, too long in fear, too long in delay. But today, as you listen to this message, something inside you is moving. You feel a stirring. You feel a pull. You feel a confrontation. Your heart is wrestling with your comfort. And that is the sign that heaven is calling you to decide. Not next week, today. Not someday, now. Because the day you decide is the day you stop being who life forced you to be and start becoming who you were born to be. You cannot change your life by emotion. Emotion comes and goes. You cannot change your life by motivation. Motivation lifts you up but fades after a few hours. You cannot change your life by waiting for the perfect mood. You change your life through a decision that is strong enough to survive your weak moments. Decision is not excitement. Decision is endurance. Anyone can make a promise when they feel inspired. But only a decision keeps you moving when you feel tired. Anyone can say, I will change when they are frustrated, but only a decision holds you steady when frustration returns. The day you decide is the day you stop negotiating with your excuses. Excuses are sweet. They comfort you while destroying you. Excuses give you temporary relief, but permanent regret. Excuses make you feel justified while stealing your future. But decision breaks the agreement between you and your excuses. Decision tells your excuses, your contract with me has expired. Decision tells your fear, you no longer have authority over my destiny. Decision tells your past, you will not sit in my tomorrow. Some people think change requires strength. No, change produces strength. What you need is not strength, but decision. Strength comes after you start, after you move, after you say yes with your whole heart. The moment you decide, heaven releases resources you never saw before. Helpers appear, ideas flow, a path forms. Opportunities show up disguised inside responsibility. You begin to see possibilities where you once saw walls. But without decision, even the blessings meant for you will pass by you. My people, life does not respond to who you pretend to be. It responds to who you decide to be. You can pretend to be courageous, but until you decide to step out, courage will not manifest. You can pretend to want change, but until you decide to change, your situation will remain unmoved. Pretending is acting. Decision is transformation. One is noise, the other is authority. You must understand that decision is not an event. It is a shift of identity. When you decide, you are not just choosing a new direction. You are choosing a new version of yourself. You are choosing the disciplined version of you, the consistent version of you, the responsible version of you, the bold version of you. And once identity shifts, behavior follows. A changed identity produces a changed life. You cannot keep your old identity and expect a new future. The old identity led you to your current reality. A new identity leads you to your new destiny. Decision gives birth to identity. Identity gives birth to destiny. There are moments in life when God brings you to the crossroads, moments that are invitations to transformation. If you miss that moment, you may spend years wandering. If you seize it, you change the direction of generations. You are not deciding just for yourself. You are deciding for your children, your family, your lineage, your purpose, your legacy. Your decision today can break patterns that have lasted decades. Your decision today can open doors that your ancestors never stepped through. Your decision today can rewrite the script of your life. That is why the enemy fears your decision more than your prayer. Because when you pray without deciding, nothing changes. But when you decide, your prayer becomes fire. The day you decide is the day you stop living as a victim. You stop blaming, complaining, comparing. Decision gives you back your authority. It makes you the driver of your destiny, not the passenger. People may have hurt you, life may have disappointed you, opportunities may have slipped away. But decision says, they may have wounded me, but they will not control me. Decision says, I may have fallen, but I will not remain on the ground. Decision says, this is not how my story ends. Many of you are waiting for a sign. Let me tell you, the sign is already inside you. The discomfort you feel is a sign. The dissatisfaction is a sign. The desire for more is a sign. The heaviness of your heart is a sign. The whisper that tells you there is more for you is a sign. You do not need another sign. You need to decide. Because destiny responds to decision, not signs. The day you decide, your habits begin to bow. Your environment begins to shift. Your relationships begin to filter. Some people will not be able to walk with you anymore. Not because they are bad, but because your decision demands a higher atmosphere. Decision requires separation. Destiny requires priority. You cannot carry everyone into your next season. Some people are attached to your comfort, not your calling. Some people are connected to your past, not your future. When you decide, you stop choosing people out of loneliness and start choosing people out of purpose. The day you decide, your mind begins to open. You stop seeing life from the lens of limitation. You start seeing how heaven sees you. You recognize that what you thought was a mountain was only a mirror reflecting your doubt. You realize that what you called impossible was only unfamiliar. You understand that what you feared was only something you had not decided to face. And you begin to move with a confidence that does not come from your background or your resources, but from your identity. Decision does not remove fear, it dethrones it. Fear does not disappear, it just loses its authority. Fear may whisper, but decision roars. Fear may threaten, but decision stands firm. Fear may remind you of your failures, but decision reminds your failures of your future. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of decision. You may be asking yourself, what if I fail? But let me ask you, what if you succeed? What if the door opens? What if your life transforms? What if this decision becomes the turning point you prayed for? Many people fear the pain of trying but ignore the pain of regretting. Regret is heavier than failure. Regret is a prison. Decision is freedom. You must choose which weight you want to carry. There are breakthroughs waiting on the other side of your decision. There are blessings waiting on the other side of your obedience. There are miracles waiting on the other side of your boldness. But heaven cannot release what you have not decided to become. You are asking for the next level, but the next level begins with a decision. You are praying for a new season, but the new season begins with a decision. You want God to change your life, but God wants you to decide your direction. The day you decide is the day you interrupt your patterns. The day you break the cycle. The day you stop repeating what destroys you. The day you stop apologizing for your potential. The day you stop settling for less than what God put inside you. The day you stop lowering your standard to match your environment. The day you stop walking with people who shrink your faith. The day you stop giving up before you start. The day you stop letting your emotions dictate your destiny. The moment you decide, even your language changes. You stop saying, I hope, and you stop saying, I will. You stop saying, maybe one day, and start saying, today is the day. You stop saying, it's too hard, and start saying, it's worth it. Decision turns your voice into a weapon. Your words begin to carry weight. Your declarations begin to manifest because decision gives your faith a foundation. This is why the enemy fights your decision. He does not fear your talent, your dreams, your ambition. He fears your decision because decision activates destiny. Decision closes the door on your past. Decision opens the door to your future. Decision breaks the chains he wants you to keep. The enemy wants you indecisive, stagnant, double-minded. Because a double-minded person is powerful in nothing, but a decided person is unstoppable. My people, the day you decide, heaven backs you. Angels move, doors align, paths appear. You begin to walk with a sense of divine timing. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is wasted. Even your pain becomes part of your preparation. Even your failures become fuel. Even your scars become strength. Because decision transforms everything it touches. The day you decide is the day your life changes forever. Not gradually, instantly. The change may take time to manifest, but the shift happens in a moment. That moment when your spirit says, I choose growth over comfort, purpose, over pleasure, discipline over distraction, destiny over delay. That moment is the birth of a new life. Right now, as you are listening, that moment is here. You can feel it pulling you. You can feel the tension inside you. You can feel the old version of you struggling to survive. You can feel the new version of you knocking at the door. Destiny is calling you to decide. Not because you are ready, but because you are chosen. Not because you have all the answers, but because you have the courage to begin. Not because the path is clear, but because the vision is real. The day you decide, your life changes forever. A decided spirit becomes a magnet for divine alignment. When a person reaches the point where their inner being is no longer divided, no longer confused, no longer stretched between fear and faith, something supernatural begins to happen. The spirit becomes anchored, rooted, grounded, and focused in a way that heaven cannot ignore. A decided spirit is not merely a motivated spirit. Motivation rises and falls, but decision stays. A decided spirit is not merely an emotional response. Emotion moves like waves, but decision stands like a mountain. When a person finally decides with their whole heart, their whole mind, their whole intention, and their whole identity, then the universe, the unseen realm, the forces of destiny, and the currents of grace begin to align in ways human logic cannot understand. Divine alignment is not accidental. It is not random. It is not something that visits the indecisive. It is drawn to those who have chosen their path with clarity and commitment. When your spirit becomes decided, you shift from being reactive to being intentional. You stop being shaped by circumstances and begin shaping circumstances. You no longer live on the surface of life, but begin living from the depth of purpose. And when a person lives from purpose, heaven recognizes them. Decision is a signal. Decision is an announcement. Decision is a spiritual registration. The moment your spirit decides, your name enters the system of destiny with a new level of authority. There are people who pray for divine alignment while carrying an undecided spirit. They want clarity, but they do not want commitment. They want breakthrough, but they do not want transformation. They want God to rearrange their environment while refusing to rearrange their inner world. But alignment is not available to the half-hearted. Divine flow is not attracted to confusion. Doubt creates distortion. Decision creates direction. A decided spirit becomes a magnet because heaven responds to agreement. When your heart, your faith, your intention, and your identity agree on the same direction, heaven aligns itself with your movement. A decided spirit is a spirit that has stopped negotiating with its past. It no longer tries to balance destiny with comfort, purpose with laziness, calling with convenience. It does not wake up today wanting one thing and tomorrow wanting another. It becomes clear, it becomes steady, it becomes mature. And when your spirit matures to the point of decision, your destiny matures to the point of manifestation. There are blessings that remain hidden until your decision activates them. There are opportunities that remain silent until your seriousness calls them out. There are helpers assigned to your life who cannot locate you until your decision places you on the right frequency. Decision changes your spiritual signal. A decided spirit is powerful because it stops leaking energy. An undecided person wastes strength. They start and stop. They rise and fall. They believe and doubt. They commit and retreat. And every time they change their mind, they lose momentum. But once your spirit decides, you stop scattering your energy in many directions. You gather your strength into one focus. You become like a river that narrows into a channel and becomes powerful enough to carve through rock. Decision intensifies your focus, and focus intensifies your force. And when your force increases, divine alignment increases. Heaven aligns with movement, not hesitation. A decided spirit no longer depends on external conditions. It carries an internal yes that does not need permission. It carries a fire that does not need validation. It carries a direction that does not need applause. A decided spirit does not ask the environment, is this the right time? It declares, my time begins when I decide. This is why divine alignment responds to you. Heaven respects the decisive. Heaven supports the bold. Heaven empowers the committed. Once your decision is established, heaven adjusts the timing to match your movement. When a person becomes decided, their atmosphere changes. Their voice changes. Their posture changes. Their expectations change. Their energy changes. Even their presence becomes different. People feel it. Environments feel it. Opportunities feel it. A decided spirit carries a spiritual fragrance. It communicates readiness, seriousness, and alignment. And heaven recognizes that fragrance. Divine alignment searches for those whose spirit is no longer divided. When it finds them, the doors that were once locked begin to open on their own. A decided spirit attracts clarity. Confusion dissolves. The fog lifts. The noise quiets. Doubt loses its authority. You begin to see with spiritual accuracy. You recognize what is for you and what is not. You differentiate distractions from destiny. Decisions you once wrestled with become easy. Paths you once feared become natural. Because when your spirit decides, your mind follows. When your mind follows, your emotions follow. When your emotions follow, your actions follow. And when your actions follow, your results follow. Everything lines up. A decided spirit attracts the right people. When your spirit is undecided, you attract confusion, instability, and people who reflect your own indecision. But when you decide, the old circle naturally fades away. You stop fitting into rooms where people without purpose. You lose tolerance for meaningless conversations. You lose interest in relationships that drain your energy. Your decision filters your environment. It removes the unnecessary. It invites the aligned. Divine connections appear when your spirit becomes decided. People who carry your next level begin to recognize you. Your tribe begins to find you. Helpers, mentors, and destiny partners begin to show up. Decision draws them in. A decided spirit attracts opportunity. Opportunity is not random. It is responsive. It gravitates toward those who have chosen their path with determination. When your spirit is undecided, opportunities hide from you because you cannot be trusted with their weight. But the moment you decide, life begins to offer you doors, not doors of comfort, but doors of destiny. These doors often require courage, responsibility, and growth, but they are doors that shape your future. Decision prepares you to walk through them. A decided spirit attracts strength, not physical strength, but spiritual resilience. Before decision, challenges break you. After decision, challenges build you. Before decision, obstacles discourage you. After decision, obstacles refine you. Before decision, pressure overwhelms you. After decision, pressure transforms you. Decision does not remove difficulty. It gives you the capacity to overcome difficulty. Divine alignment does not mean the absence of trials. It means the presence of grace. Grace increases when decision increases. Strength multiplies when commitment multiplies. A decided spirit attracts discipline. You stop relying on feelings. You start relying on principles. You stop waiting for motivation. You start moving with intention. You stop chasing comfort. You start chasing transformation. Decision gives birth to discipline, and discipline gives birth to destiny. Divine alignment flows through discipline. Heaven trusts the consistent. Heaven invests in the stable. Heaven empowers those who can sustain commitment. With every disciplined step, you pull divine alignment closer. A decided spirit attracts responsibility. When you decide, you stop running from responsibility. You stop avoiding your assignment. You stop postponing your calling. You stop hiding behind excuses. Decision makes you accountable to your purpose. Responsibility may feel heavy at first, but it carries divine rewards. Responsibility is the bridge to influence. Responsibility is the womb of miracles. Responsibility invites divine partnership. Heaven joins hands with those willing to carry what they are called to carry. A decided spirit attracts transformation. You begin to shed old habits like a snake shedding old skin. You begin to outgrow patterns that once controlled you. You begin to rise above limitations that once defined you. Decision is the trigger for transformation. Before decision, you discuss change. After decision, you become change. Before decision, your old nature dominates. After decision, your new nature rises. Transformation is not an event. It is a flow, and decision is what opens that flow. A decided spirit attracts peace, not because life becomes easier, but because your direction becomes clearer. A person who has decided sleeps differently. Their mind rests. Their heart is calm. Their spirit is settled. They are not torn between options, not confused between paths, not battling internal conflict. Peace comes when the spirit chooses. Peace stays when the spirit commits. Divine alignment flows best through peace, because peace is the language of heaven. A decided spirit attracts acceleration. Things that once took years begin to take months. Things that once took months begin to take weeks. Not because you rush, but because alignment removes resistance. When heaven aligns with your decision, delays break, stagnation breaks, cycles break. You begin to move with divine speed. You begin to experience supernatural momentum. Doors do not just open, they open at the right time, in the right sequence, in the right order. A decided spirit attracts identity. You begin to recognize who you truly are. You stop living according to your wounds and start living according to your calling. You stop seeing yourself through the lens of your past and start seeing yourself through the lens of your purpose. Decision awakens identity. Identity awakens authority. Authority awakens destiny. And destiny awakens alignment. A decided spirit becomes a magnet because it carries weight. Divine realms respond to weight. Not physical weight, but spiritual weight. The weight of conviction, the weight of certainty, the weight of commitment, the weight of purpose. A decided spirit carries this weight. You cannot see it with natural eyes, but the spiritual realm recognizes it. You become spiritually identifiable. You become spiritually traceable. You become spiritually undeniable. You become someone heaven cannot overlook. A decided spirit attracts miracles. Not the kind you wish for casually, but the kind reserved for those who walk in obedience. Miracles follow alignment. Miracles follow purpose. Miracles follow spiritual solidity. When your spirit becomes decided, heaven begins to orchestrate interventions that go beyond logic. Things fall into place that you could never arrange. Things shift that you never touched. Things break that you could never fight. Things rise that you never built. Because divine alignment carries miracle working power. A decided spirit attracts destiny. Destiny is not a place. It is a flow. It is a sequence of divine moments arranged by God, accessed by decision, and sustained by discipline. And when your spirit becomes decided, you step into this flow. You become synchronized with heaven's timing. you become aligned with heaven's intention. You become connected with heaven's plan. A decided spirit becomes a magnet for divine alignment.